Hi friends, welcome back to Three Barrow Farm. Today I'm going to talk to you about what you can plant and sow in cool regions of Australia in November. Now let's start with the exciting stuff. So what I'm doing here is taking the frost cloth off my tomatoes. So I've already planted most of my tomato plants out along this row here, but I have sown some more tomato seed and I will be sowing one last lot of tomatoes this month. So one thing you need to do with your tomatoes when you plant them out in cool regions of Australia is to put some sort of cloth over them, whether it's an old sheet or some frost cloth that you've picked up, or even some hessian. But you just want to protect these plants from the frost, or they will burn and die from that frost that hits their leaves. Along with tomatoes, we can also get the last lot of seeds of capsicums and chilies and eggplants into our trays. And we can also start planting those out as well. However, with all these summer crops that I'm talking about, we're going to have to put some sort of cloth over them to protect them from the frosts. Don't get caught out with those late frosts. If it says it's going to be around 3 degrees overnight, put something over your plants. This also goes for our cucumbers, our pumpkins, our rock melons and watermelons, the squash, and sometimes the corn as well. We can also experience some frost damage on beans. So just be aware of these things and make sure you cover them if you've planted them out already. Generally, at some point during this month, it stops being really cold at night, but I still tuck in my tomatoes until they've reached sort of the top of the frost cloth where I've pegged it onto the Rio. And behind me here, last month, I already planted some rock melons, zucchinis and cucumbers, which I am keeping under this frost cloth here just in case. November is your last month to get your potatoes out if you live in cool regions of Australia. So potatoes take approximately 13 weeks to be ready. And because April is pretty much the month where we start getting heavy frosts again, I want to plant out the rest of my potatoes earlier this month. So I've already planted potatoes along this row. Some of them are just starting to pop up their little heads, and others are nice and big, like this one here and the one down below. That big one came up from the seed from last year, so it's had a head start. But I want to get the rest of my tubers in. I've got a few more tubers left, so I'm going to be getting them in earlier this month to harvest them in February and in March. So behind me here yesterday, I have been getting so much seed into the ground. So I've been direct sowing onions and carrots in this section with a little bit of beetroot as well. But most of this is carrots. So you can continue to get your root vegetables in. So some of your onions, just check the label to make sure that the onion variety that you have is okay to put out right now. You can also get some more spring onions into the ground. You can get radishes and beetroot and kohlrabi and carrots, of course, celery and leek, parsnips, swedes and turnips as well. I have planted some parsnips out here. Carrots take around 12 weeks to be ready, but parsnips, they take around 17 weeks till they're ready to harvest. So getting them in now means you'll be harvesting them in March, and it's kind of nice. It gets cooler and they actually taste sweeter. Another thing that you can sow as well as put plants in is asparagus. Now, if you're lucky to find some asparagus plants or crowns to put in the ground, then that's fantastic. But you can also sow them from seed as well. You can also have a go at growing your brassicas during summer. Now, some people like myself prefer to grow all the brassicas in the winter because there tends to be less of an issue with them and less likelihood of them sprouting off and going to seed. But I have had a few viewers tell me that they start their Brussels sprout plants in October and November, and they get a fantastic crop in autumn or winter next year. So if you're keen like me, I'm going to give it a go and try some this month. I have also got some cabbages and some kales and broccolis, some sprouting broccolis, ready to come out here into the garden. So I'm going to be planting those plants out. I may start some more seed this month as well, so you can do both. You can also get more of your chard and silver beet into trays and into the ground as well. Now, something that I like to try in succession sow are lettuces. All lettuces and greens, I like to continually sow them every month. So I've got some more plants to pop out into the garden, and I'm also sowing some more seeds in my trays. You could also sow your seeds direct into the ground. Now let's chat about herbs. You can pretty much get all of your herbs into seed trays or into the garden. You can plant them. You can buy plants if you want and plant them into your garden. Particularly those that are perennials are fantastic to buy as a plant because you'll still be getting more for your money there. But things like parsley and dill that go to seed and re-sprout up from the seed that drops, I like to make sure that I plant those myself so that I know that the seed is open pollinated and that the seeds that drop are actually going to work. So you can get your basil, your chives, your coriander, dill, parsley, sage, mint, oregano, borage, thyme, sweet marjoram. All of these herbs can be planted as plants and you can still sow seeds as well. Just remember that basil is frost sensitive, so we want to be really careful with that herb in particular and cover it. I've got some planted next to my tomatoes, so they're getting covered by the frost cloth. Something that I'm giving a go at are loofahs. So I have got some seedlings just growing right now, but I will probably plant another couple of seeds this month, early this month, and hopefully we will get a crop. I'm excited. It's my first year growing loofahs. And that is all I have on my list to sow this November. You can pretty much plant all of these things as plants or sow them as seed. The only thing that I would suggest that you never purchase as a punnet from a nursery or plant in your seed trays are carrots and parsnips. Just direct sow them into the ground. They don't like their roots to be disturbed, so transplanting them isn't the best thing to do. If you have anything else you want to add to my list of things to plant and sow in November in cool regions of Australia, please comment below and let us know. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're interested in more videos on growing things in cool regions of Australia. I look forward to seeing you next time, friends. Bye for now.